learned Tai Chi to be able to do this. How serious are you? Hello, super friends. I have a confession to make. I'm a casual fan. I know it's so terrible, especially for someone who makes a living off writing for superheroes, but it's true. I just don't have enough time to keep up on every little detail of every story that I'm a fan of. On Thursday, my dad and I went to see the new Spider-Man movie, Into the Spider-Verse. Let me tell you something, it was fresh to death. I loved it, it was so cool. Without giving you any spoilers, I can tell you that the premise of this movie explains exactly why it's so hard for me to keep up on all of my different fandoms. In the multiverse theory, scientists postulate that there are possibly an infinite number of parallel universes that exist outside of our own that are different from ours by any number of variations. In the Spider-Verse movie, what they do is they create a big science-y machine powered by a goober that is designed to bridge these parallel universes and accidentally brings in a bunch of different iterations of Spider-Man into the same world. This is a great premise for a story, but it's also especially utilitarian because since its creation there have been so many different iterations of Spider-Man. Spider-Men? Spider-People. Because of the multiverse theory, they were able to bring all of these different versions of the character into the same story. And this makes for a truly excellent take on the old tale. You see, comic book superheroes have been around for about 100 years now. In that time, a pantheon of characters from each of the different companies have been solidified into legends. Legends like the baby who fell from the sky, or the guy who got hit by lightning and a bunch of unstable chemicals, or the kid who got bit by a radioactive spider. See? You already know who I'm talking about and I didn't even use full sentences. These legends have been told and retold so many times that generations of audiences have started to get bored with the retellings. The writers actually struggle with boredom too, no matter how good the original story is. To deal with this, they reinvent the characters in a couple of classic ways. They travel to the past and change the timeline. They cut the story at a different angle. They color the characters through a different genre lens. Or, as in the Spider-Verse movie, they jump universes and find completely unprecedented ways to tell the same story. Any new fan will tell you that this is where the problem begins. Where do you start? If you jumped in and became a fan halfway through, how do you get caught up? Which iteration is considered canon by fans, and which isn't? And most importantly, how on earth are you supposed to know? Unfortunately, at this point, you sometimes come across these mean Uber fans who tell you that you can't call yourself a true fan unless you know every detail about each of the different stories. Look over there, I bet you that's a wannabe Gryffindor. Hey you! I bet you've only seen the movies, right? You're not a real fan. Your favorite Doctor is 11? And you haven't seen any of the black and white series? You're not a real fan. Don't talk to me about the anime unless you've read the manga. Don't give me that. Atla literally started with the cartoon. Get your facts straight. In fact, this happens in basically anything that can be considered a fandom, even playing music. And they all have their own rules about what can and cannot be considered a fan. What do you mean you don't use bar chords? I literally play 30 other instruments. Give me a break. I am continually surprised at how much this still happens today. I even do it to myself sometimes. It all comes back down to pride. You feel special that you found something really cool, and then when you find other people who also like that thing, you form your own little clique. You and your friends are the only ones who know about this really cool thing, and it creates an us versus them mentality. If we let this stratification get away from us though, our pride tells us that we have to exclude those who are deemed not worthy, as a way of maintaining our own specialness for knowing about this cool thing. C.S. Lewis called this the creation of an inner ring. Let's take an example. In superhero fandoms, there are often these people who call themselves purists, who say that comic books and graphic novels are the only way to enjoy a certain character. Now, in 100 years of history, there have been so many different comic books and graphic novels from different artists from every different type that it's literally almost impossible to be able to catch up on all of those, much less to know every little change and detail made by different people. Like I always say, all art is the same, and every art form is valid. Who are you to tell me that I shouldn't like one piece over another? For example, my favorite superhero is Static Shock. He was created by a writer named Dwayne McDuffie. I have only read a handful of comics, but the reason that I got hooked on Static Shock was because of the award-winning TV show that was on in the early 2000s. Dwayne McDuffie actually helped develop the show for television and even wrote on a couple of episodes. He did some of his best work on those shows, especially the ones that bridged that show with the Justice League cartoon that was on at the same time. Those are the best superhero stories that I remember when I was growing up. You can tell me all you want that the comics are purer or better than the cartoons, but that's what I like. And it was true, compelling, relevant storytelling that was high caliber. Very Dwayne McDuffie. So yeah, I'm a casual fan. I don't read comics or graphic novels all that much. Most of what I know about superheroes comes from either research or television and movies, and I don't even watch all of that stuff. But that's perfectly okay. In fact, it's more than okay. It is what has inducted me into a fandom of people who all enjoy the same awesome characters and stories as me. So just chill out and let people be fans already. And let yourself be a fan too, in whatever way that you enjoy.
Party on, dude.
Maybe not quite that casual though.
Smokey and I would like to thank you for ignoring his snores throughout this recording. He's such a cutie.